Alright, good morning. It's Wednesday morning here in McAllen, Texas. This is my leadership talk for today. So I had an experience yesterday. Actually 2 days ago, where it's really odd, interesting. So this young man, not on my team, in Maryland, new in the company, right? And he was watching one of my videos and heard me mention Tony Suggs. So I fought Tony Suggs. He was the #1 ranked lightweight in the country. He won the first berth in the Olympic trials by knocking out Kennedy McKinney in the Olympic Festival, the end of 1987. And I fought him like right after that. And we had an epic war. And so he's like, yeah, Tony trained me and all that. And I'm like, and he kept liking my videos and all that. And so I talked to him and I found out he's new with the company. Hadn't got a license yet or nothing. Hadn't, so I'm like, all right, get to it. And I could talk to him very directly. And I could relate to things to him because of our common experience in the boxing gym. Where you're new, you don't know nothing, you get the snot beat out of you for a while. And what has to happen is you have to break out of that. You have to it's a real exercise in willpower, where you just have to dig down deep, right, and stand your ground and get after it. And so he had the same experience. It's the same thing here. It's the same thing here. And our system is pretty basic. It's around the fast start. Okay, so what we do for people, it's just amazing, is what we really do is we just help them line up their focus. Okay, so there's so many people that are just head down, drilling, making that money. All right, they want to make that money. All right, and but that's just the beginning. What are you doing with that money? Until that money makes more money for you than you do working, right? You're gonna work. All right, you may like what you do. These people that are consultants and public speakers, hey, they may like, but they may like it, but they got to do it forever. And then the way they're gonna get taxed, like crazy, because they don't have their money structured right. Okay, so if it's better to start off, having your money in the right place, paying the least amount of taxes, getting the best rate of return, reducing the risk, right? These policies have a floor. You know what that means? It doesn't go any lower than that. And when you look at the graph between a variable universal life, where your money's in the market, in these sub accounts with a variable contract, they're mutual funds. Okay, and that money does what the market does. If the market's up, they're up. If the market's down, they're down. They promote dollar cost averaging, where you're contributing every month, right? So when the market's down, you're buying more shares. But when the market comes back up, those shares inflate. Okay, well, okay. But when you do the same, when you do dollar cost averaging with the floor, you do about 30% better. How about that? Okay, and when you look at the market, there's a graph out there with comparing variable universal life versus index universal life from 2000 to 2012. And with all the ups and downs, the variable universal life after in 2012 was like up 0.42%, right? The index universal life was up 114.49%. And you know what the market's done since then? It's doubled. Okay, and you can't, I don't care who's talking to you, I don't care if they're, I get, oh my God, it's like every day somebody's wanting to friend me on LinkedIn and talk to me about cryptocurrency. I'm like, you know, they can't beat that. I mean, they just can't touch that. There you go, right? So it makes my point, all right? A little bit of that, you know, your premium is the cost of insurance. Depending on how old you are and your level of health, the rest of that's your money, okay? And so how you want to have your money, right? Well, it's in the book The Closers by Bengay III. I got to send him this. I quote him a lot from that book. He talks a little bit about leadership. He says there's a group of people standing around doing nothing in a parking lot or a gymnasium, and somebody comes along with enough enthusiasm and says, "Come on, let's go." The majority's going to follow. Now, this is where what's important was that those ones that don't move off their square, that's another leader. They're devising their plan. They got, you know, they know where they want to go. You got to go back to them and say, "Hey, listen, you know, where's it you want to go?" And if you can show them how to get to where they want to go faster by going with you, they'll lead from the front. All right. Those other people that go for a while and then stop, all right, it doesn't matter how hard or easy the opportunity is. They don't have a destination. They don't have a dream. They don't have any great desire to do better, all right? So, you know, here and there, you know, it's not important to them, okay? You can give them the opportunity to make as much money as they want. J. Paul Getty talks about the three kinds of people. The guy that, you know, he wants to be the boss. He wants to be in charge, right? You know, that's the kind of guy he is. You say, "Listen, you're the boss. I'm here to back you up." He'll run your business just like it's his own, right? You get the other guy. There's another guy that doesn't want to be the boss, but he's money motivated. You can show him how to make more money by making you more money. He'll make you both rich. Third kind of guy is like the postal employee. Nothing against postal employees. We need them, right? And they do a good job. Make sure we get our mail on time and all that, right? But they don't, you know, they're happy with what they got. They're paying their rent or their mortgage. They're paying their electric bill. You know, they can buy food and beer, and so they can lay on the couch and watch TV, right? If given an opportunity to make as much money as they're willing to work for, the first two kind of guys are going to be rich. The third, if given that same opportunity, he's going to stay right where he's at, unless his comfort zone gets shaken up. He loses his job, he gets divorced, his rent goes up, right? Then he'll become like the first kind of guy until he gets to where he wants to be. And depending on how far he has to stretch, all right, will determine how much additional confidence he gets, and then he'll become like the first kind of guy, right? And the second kind of guy, you know, he'll jump on any viable opportunity that he can find, right? Because he's got confidence, right? He knows he can make something, right? And you see that. So this is my second time, and this is my second rodeo with this business. I got into business. I was a mortgage broker. I got in that business as a debt management consultant. Most of my customers were people that I had to somehow fix them up, you know, with what I knew about debt and credit, and get to the point where they could get a loan. But I knew they weren't going to make it to the promised land with their retirement, right? And when I saw this business, I'm like, dude, this is the way. And I didn't even bother getting my licenses because I didn't care about it. I didn't think there was any money in insurance. Because I was thinking term, right? And I took this young guy out, 26 years old, right? Had a degree in communications from Ohio State, and he just do the flip chart, and I watched him go through 40 of my. I gave him 40. We had 40 appointments in 1 month. All right, and I got a couple referrals. That's all I was looking for, more referrals from mortgages and real estate. Right? What? That kid made $30,000 that month and got promoted to SMD. And I went, oh, I need to get those licenses. Right? And the first one I recruited was a realtor, very successful realtor. And she had like 12 houses. She had like $2 million in equity. She had like 7 of them in Hawaii. And her equity disappeared, vaporized in like 1 month. She wanted to refinance, get the cash out, right? And the market just tanked, right? But that woman was after it. She got her life and health, her Series 6 and 63 before I ever even got my life license. And she had like 44 people on her team, and I had 4, right? But then her husband got throat cancer, and her mother got diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and she had a Down syndrome sister. And she was in my ear crying every day, and you know, she ended up falling away from the business. And but by that time I'd got things going, and then my dad died, and my dad loved it that I was in this business. My dad missed his calling. My dad was a Jewish farmer, Jewish descent, you know, heritage, right? And he had that mindset, you know. He would read the financial pages every day to figure out if Russia was buying or selling. You know, does he need to grow corn or does he need to grow wheat? And he missed his calling. He should have been a financial advisor. He loved it that I was in this business. And when I left for the funeral, my wife, who was from Florida, and my oldest son was already in Pensacola, Florida, training in boxing with Roy Jones Sr. And she told me she reconnected with her college roommate, right? And they were going to get together, and I went. My youngest son, who was like 11 years old at the time, he's pretty self-sufficient. I scheduled 4 appointments a day, 10 days in a row, 40 appointments. I only wrote business with 3 of them, 3 couples. It was husband, wife, husband, wife, husband, wife. It was 66,000 points, right? The rest of them, right? And then though they were referrals from the other ones that got help, at least they got a budget. You know, they got you know, set up with an emergency fund. It helped them, you know, reduce some expenses and create some kind of margins where they could start saving something or pay down some debt. You know, they all got some help. I didn't just fold it up when I saw that they were spending everything they're making. It's like, okay, now it's time to get started. Right? Here's where I specialize in, helping you out. Right? And you know, that's why I roll my sleeves up and I get to go in what I know how to do. Right? But I got paid. My commission was $9,000, and I got paid in 4 days. And then My wife came back from her little vacation and told me she wanted a divorce. She connected with this guy, and they'd been back and forth. You know, he was the hottest guy in her class, and he, at the high school class reunion, he told her he always had a crush on her, and she got motivated and started working out every day, and gluten-free diet, and injecting herself with vitamin B12 and hormones. She lost like 90 pounds in 90 days. Her sex drive was off the hook, and I'm like, yeehaw, life is good. And well, it wasn't for me. And but that crushed me. I didn't see it coming. Never thought it ever happened to me. I couldn't stop crying. You know, every day for like 7.5 months, and then every other day for like 3.5 months after that. And I wasn't functional. I was on an appointment with one of my associates, who was a pastor, and his father-in-law, who was another pastor. And in the middle, his father-in-law asked me, you know, about my father, and I just collapsed, started crying. And so I ended up going out to the Indian Ocean. I suspended my licenses, ended up going out in the Indian Ocean, did anti-piracy security in 2011. They paid like $700 a day, but I hated that job, right? But that was trying to think, there's got to be a better way, and that got me to the drone business right at the beginning, man. And I learned so much, but it was because the FAA restrictions, it was really difficult to get any business. In fact, 2014, my sister killed herself. Her husband left her, and she committed suicide, and I was home for the funeral. Yeah, day after my birthday, I found out my sister shot herself. And I went home from Michigan for a month, and then the FAA put a blanket restriction on all commercial operations, and so I was out of business. And then the guy I was living with, he was marketing LED lights for stage and performance, you know, big floodlights, you know, for that kind of stuff. And he had me marketing digital signage because I had come from Las Vegas. And every time I talked to somebody about digital signage, they wanted to talk about commercial lighting, floodlights, high bays, shoe boxes, all that kind of stuff. And so I started working for LED City up in Dallas as an estimator, and that was hard because LED lights are more expensive, still are, right? And trying to get bid after bid after bid, these commercial construction projects, and not winning any bids. And I came down here to the valley. I'm like, well, this place is wide open for LED lights. So I started a rep company down here, and I got some business. But it was few and far between. It was like a feast or famine, and that's when my second wife at the time met Bernadette Kim at Toastmasters, and she went, like, she thought it was ladies' night out. She got invited to Bernadette's house for an overview, and I ended up paying for her code number and mine, and we took our license exams, and she kicked me out. And then she moved to Las Vegas, and it was hard to go to meetings, man, because she'd be glaring at me all, you know, hateful. But when she left, I'm like, you know what? You can make a lot of money in this business. And so I started plugging in, and I had some talks with Bernadette, you know. Bernadette's a driver, man. She's a type A all the way, right? And I'm used to that, but not from a petite little woman, right? And and I told her exactly what I'm telling you, right? And I let her know that I heard about her way before I ever met her, and I had respect from her coming in the door, and got that across to her. Oh yeah. And then for her birthday, I bought her the book, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza. And she loved that book. She even took his course, right? And you know, and she loved it because it was like, you know, it really drilled down to the science of why it works. And there's some things that, there's some magic to that. I was watching this video, I forget who it was, talking about oh yeah, it'll come to me. He's dead now. Real bald guy, real famous. It'll come to me. But he's talking about magic in your life. You know, the real magic. Okay. And there's a whole bunch of things to it. We're designed. We got a certain mechanism in us that if you have a burning desire to do something or be something, you get that clear picture in your mind, and you've had it long enough, it becomes part of your subconscious programming. So your subconscious programming is all your past experiences, like a database of everything you've ever done, said, did, experienced, all right, or witnessed. All right, it's up here. And when you get into a crisis, it goes there to help find the solution to get you out of your crisis, right? But you can't, it just limits you to that. You can't bring in and process new information to help you out of your crisis, right? But if you've got a goal that's set, it's part of your subconscious, it'll protect it. Your amygdala, that part of your brain that regulates the fight or flight, it will pull you in. It'll always take you to the path that'll get you closer to your goal. All right, on automatic, right? And then if you continually expose yourself to information like we do with our trainings, right? That's even if you're in crisis mode and you're in beta mode and you can't process that new information, once you get some relief though, your brain goes to work at processing all that information. And then you get these epiphanies popping in your head. It's like taking your, you know, I say this all the time, it's like shutting your cell phone off, going to a church or a meeting or a movie, and when you come out, you get all these notices and texts and messages start popping. All right, well, that's what happens when you continue. That's what the importance of the meeting mentality is. All right, and it's why I'm back in this business. All right, that's why I'm back here, right, doing this, because I've had a dream since 1994. All right, this big beautiful house in Point Loma, California, with the view of the San Diego Bay to die for. And I know just what it's like a $3 million price tag on that house right now. And I know what I need. I need 6 SMDs that are all but producing, like, you know, 60,000 points a month. That's what I need, right? And I know that's what it is, right? So it's a distinction. It's a you know when you're talking to the right person, because they got that goal, that burning desire. We just recruited somebody, and she got on the Team Abundance training last night, and she was getting on the WFG website, setting up her profile and your username and password, and going on the WSB community website and setting up her counter. She ain't playing, and she's got a dream. She's the most coachable person I've ever seen, right? and because she ain't playing, she's done, she's done pretty good. She's got her own house, she's she's a manager, but she's kind of reached her limit, right? And she knows, that she can produce, and she knows. I mean, she's a dream. She's gonna be. It's really funny because now that she did it, the guy that recruited her, he's doing it. It's funny, right? That's leadership, right? He ain't gonna get left behind by her, right? Which is awesome. Yeah, I hope you're listening to this. All right. There is a financial education night tonight. All right. I'm sending this out to my team. I got some other people on my team. I got some people that got some serious potential. All right. But there's that spark. That spark's got to be ignited. All right. That gets them to drive forward and do what they need to do, whether anybody is supporting them, whether anybody believes in them, whether anybody's thinks that they can do it or not, as everybody doubts them. It don't matter. They're doing it anyways, right? And and I had to do that boxing. I had to do that when I wanted to box, being the only white guy in the gym, and nobody thought I could do anything, and nobody wanted me to do it. And then same thing going in the SEAL teams, right? Same thing, when I got in the mortgage business and got my I wanted to get my broker's license, so it's the same, there ain't no mountain for a climber. All right, if people have gone through, these kind of challenges and before, they'll do it again. And the people that are standing around that don't have a dream can't stop them. And that's who's always trying to stop you. All right. Have a great one.